I do want to say something quickly about Rudy Gobert. And we talked last week about how important he is to this team and how valuable he is in general. And when it comes to the term most valuable player, MVP, I don't know how he's not on a very short list. I'm not saying he's the best player in the league. And I think that's what it comes down to for people who vote. It's not who's the most valuable player to their team. I think it comes down to who is the best player. And I understand that. But when it comes to most valuable player, I got LeBron James, and then I got Rudy Gobert. And I understand it's not sexy. I understand that fans of other teams can't stand that, and they don't like Jazz fans because we keep saying this type of thing. But if you watch the Jazz, when Rudy Gobert is on the floor versus when he's not on the floor, you cannot deny how freaking important he is to this team. It is like a totally different squad. And it affects the defense, obviously, but it also affects the offense. And sometimes I'm watching them, and if we didn't have Jordan Clarkson, who's had a couple rough games, but overall, if we didn't have Jordan Clarkson, I'm not sure there'd be many buckets at all from the bench. So it kind of pains me, and I get other fans of other teams don't like watching Rudy Gobert because he's not real flashy, he's not real exciting. But anyone who denies how important he is doesn't watch Jazz basketball. And that's all there is to it. I saw Stephen A. Smith has Donovan Mitchell on his short list for MVP candidates. And I love Donovan. I love that. And I agree. If you don't watch a lot of Jazz basketball, I can see why you would throw him on there. But I just think Rudy Gobert is absolutely, he's so vital. And it just cannot be overstated how valuable and important he is to this team. And as long as I have even a small platform, I'm going to be ringing the Rudy Gobert bell and pounding that drum until the day I die, because he is absolutely insane. And we are so lucky to have him. And I hope Jazz fans don't take it for granted.
I mean, you're right. And they should change the MVP award to the best player in the league award.
They should.
Right?
Yeah, right.
Because you're right. That's what it is. The player who is the best and typically on one of the best teams. So Rudy is really sort of challenging the idea of what it means to be an MVP. And a little bit of that is a byproduct of how we talk about him, right? Like, and I know and I'm not making fun of anyone here, but we talk a lot about screen assists and yada, yada, those type of game terminologies, which mean a hell of a lot to Utah Jazz fans, but mean very little outside the confines of the state of Utah.
And I get it.
An average or casual basketball fan.
Right. I understand it. It's not fun. Like, screen assists aren't fun, you know? I get it.
But here's the one that you can, and I look, I'm not looking it up. So if there's a stats nerd out there who wants to contradict this, just do a plus minus Rudy on the floor and off. And I guarantee you he's in the top 3 in the league. And then I'm thinking LeBron's one of them, probably Kawhi. Who else? You know, and among others, Dame Lillard's probably one that would rival him as far as a plus minus when he's on the floor and off the floor and his team's production. And Rudy Gobert is going to be right there. So that it means his value is immense and great. And look, if Rudy Gobert is not on the Jazz, I would hesitate to even, it would be such a catwalk. 32 wins and 11 losses right now. I mean, what are they? 22 and 22 essentially, probably, or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, like I think he has added, and this is just me watching games, at least 10 wins based on his production level.
At least. For sure. I mean, it's crazy to me. And again, I can kind of forgive the fans of other teams, and they hate the Jazz. They hate the Jazz fans. I get it. We're kind of at the losers table. Whatever. Who cares? Get over it. I've been a Jazz fan my whole life. This is nothing new. So let's stop worrying so much about that. But when you have national guys who only cover the NBA and they don't understand the value that he brings. Like I get it if you're like a media guy in Orlando or a media guy like in Milwaukee or something. But if that's your job to cover the entire NBA and you're undervaluing Rudy Gobert, or you're kind of laughing at the idea that he could be in the conversation for MVP again, I don't think he's going to win it. I don't think he should win it because it's not that type of award. But if you're that guy, you're just not doing your job. You're just not paying attention. And that's the thing that kind of irks me is like this dude he's just been so undervalued his entire life when it comes to basketball that it's helped us obviously, but it's time for people to start taking notice of what he's doing. Pardon the pun.
And I hope not, because that'll just stoke the fire more. Like in my most selfish way. Here's the thing about altruism. Like, yeah, I want him to get it, but not really, because him not getting any pub only benefits the Utah Jazz and consequently makes my game nights a little better or a lot better.
Very good point.
But you're absolutely right. Look, I think it's just like the Jazz early in the season. I think people are coming to appreciate more of the impact he has on the game. And the one thing that most of our players play hard 85% of the time. But I can say one thing definitively. There's never been a game where I've been like, Rudy just didn't play tonight. Didn't play well,
right? Just
didn't play. Like, and I was asking for him to hit a water bottle a couple weeks ago. He's matured and wants to keep his money. I totally understand that. But man, the guy comes to play and he runs the court more than some of our small forwards.
It's crazy.
And
he really does.
8 inches taller, so
it's insane.
That's the thing. Not to mention his screen assist, his defensive presence, his offensive acumen's coming around. Had a little turnaround jump shot the other night. How about it, buddy? Yeah.
He did.
And then I saw a dribble in between the legs last night. Legit.
He's really trying to get that offensive game going, and I think it'll come together. And this is the last thing I'll say, and then we can move on. He didn't play particularly well against the Raptors. And do you know how I remember that? Do you know why I remember that? Because he actually had a subpar game. He never has a subpar game. He almost had a triple-double with blocks. He was 1 block away from having a triple-double. That's insane. How can you not just be blown away by what he does every single day?
I mean, it's funny that you say that. In the Raptors game, he had 16 rebounds and 15 points.
Okay, maybe it's a different game then, but maybe it was the Wizards game. Maybe that's why we lost.
Yeah, well, everyone played terrible in the Wizards game. That was a group team effort of not giving a crap. And
yeah, but when we've seen that in the past, it's always been Rudy is the one guy who does play well.
And Bradley Beal and Westbrook just saying nope.
Yeah.
I mean, those and Westbrook's always going to go out the Jazz.
Yeah.
Forever. He could be playing in Europe, and if you strapped a Jazz uniform on the opponent, he would destroy them.
Totally.
Because that's just that forever, right?
Totally.
And we all know why. We don't need to revisit that. But yeah, I think you're thinking of the Wizards game, and that was just a team letdown. The fact that there was 122 and it's a 9-point game, I never felt that they had a chance to win that game. Ever.
No, the Wizards game.
Yeah,
it felt like the Golden State game.
Exactly. Like they were just going through the motions,
right?
And that's when I start to get worried, right? Like with the Jazz, we've hit on it before. You gotta bring it, right? We need the 1 seed, especially with the vaccine coming through and people being. Who knows what the capacity will be? LA probably still won't be able to have fans, but guess what? If they have to come here, we can have fans, right or wrong. Right. We can.
This is the time to do it. If you're going to win a title, this is the time to do it.
It might provide a little bit of a hitch in their giddy up. Time will tell. Look, the Jazz are back to winning. It's March Madness. Life's going all right.
Life's good. Life is good.